PSG second leg. Danny, you feeling more nervous for this one than we were maybe a week ago?
Having watched us barely get a kick. Yeah, a little bit. Listen, the sucker punch, smash and grab, however you want to describe that result, not performance last week, fills me with so much confidence and belief. Obviously, there's the Anfield factor to put into consideration here. We've done some remarkable miracles in this stadium, certainly on European nights. So yeah, there's lots to be optimistic about. There's also a lot to be cautious of. It's far from over. We've seen last week how good they are. They will sort of have aspirations and belief they can do a similar level of performance. But what I can kind of foresee happening is they're not quite as good, and we raise our levels a notch or two. And if that sort of meets in the middle, it should be a much more even contest. Because as much as I think PSG were brilliant, we were very, very flat. Mm-hmm. And when we did get opportunities in transition and stuff like that, we actually got into some decent areas. Just the quality left so much to be desired. Like Salah, it was earmarked as Salah versus Nuno Mendes being an area of the pitch we could really exploit and get some joy. It was the opposite of that. Like Nuno Mendes absolutely had him. Salah had a really, really off night, and I don't think it'll quite be the same. So, yeah, I am hopeful. I hope we don't need Alisson quite so much, I think it's fair to say as well. But honestly, anything remains possible for this one, because PSG will look at that and they'll think, if we can just finish our dinner a little bit more and be a bit more clinical in certain areas, then yeah, it's a very open tie still.
We're going to have to be better, Chris, because Alisson is the best goalie in the world, but you can't, it's not sustainable what he did there, because you have a reversion to the mean, even though his mean is well above average for every other goalkeeper on the planet. If we allow them that much of a look at our goal, odds are they will score goals, and that will cause a problem. So we're gonna have to be better. But it is weirdly sort of poised because of the 1-0 lead to us. I think it does make the managers approach slightly more tricky, because I think if you're going there level or maybe even a goal behind, there is no doubt how you approach this game. You've got no choice but to go and win it. But there is another little thing here where we have got a lead to lose here. We actually don't need to win the game to get through to the next round. So it does. I still think he'll go for it, but it does add that little wrinkle to his thinking.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things here that I think is important, and I said this after the game against PSG last week, is I think the manner in which we got our victory means that as fans, we're going to be going in there like we're behind, because we know how good PSG are. I think if we'd sort of waltzed in and got a 2-0 win, Anfield wouldn't be anywhere near as up for it as it is going to be tomorrow night. We're going to be up there going, they're going to need us tonight, because PSG are fucking a really good side. So we've got to give it our absolute all. So I like that. I'd not consider it from your side there. You were talking about, like, what does Slot do? Because I've been sort of thinking about it, what does Enrique do? And Enrique, I think, plays into Slot's hand a little bit, because he'll be going, play the same way. And from that, I think of Slot as a bit more of a reactive manager at times. Like, I'm going to do this to nullify the opposition. And if he knows, for example, that Paris Saint-Germain are going to play exactly the same way, I imagine he's going to have a counterpunch to that this time around, where he's looked at it for 90 minutes and gone, right, okay, it didn't work. This is what we do when they get into those situations this time around, and sort of feed off them a little bit. And because they were so good and they were so dominating, I think Enrique plays the same way, and that might help Slot in what he wants to do. Just give them a few ideas as to, if they do that again, right, this is how we break out. There was a weakness over that side when they were attacking. If you get the ball, boom, whatever, you know what I mean?
It's the first half an hour is going to be massive for me in this one, Chloe, because there'll be a coach greeting. So there'll be a big environment going into it. It'll be noisy. It'll be raucous on the cop. Spine Cop will have all the flags in full force. So the atmosphere is almost going to be there regardless. And if you can get that first goal and really blow the roof off and really throw it down on their toes, then you're in control of the game. I think you get to decide what you want to do a little bit more.
Bring Endo on, yeah, you're right.
100%. But the alternative is, if they grab that first goal, I don't think the atmosphere goes away. It then puts it on our toes. And what I'm saying is, it could go the way of Barcelona, but it could also go the way of the Borussia Dortmund game, where they came in and overturned our lead from the first leg, and we're like, oh shit, are we going to get blown away? And then had to dig deep. These are both positive outcomes for Liverpool, by the way, but I do think that first half an hour, whilst it's really on top, is probably where the shape of the game is going to be decided.
Yeah, it is, and you wonder what's best in terms of an atmosphere, because I'm expecting Liverpool to have a bit more possession today, have a bit more control over the game. I'd really enjoy it. But at the same time, that can kill the atmosphere more, because if we just want the possession and not doing, because we're 1-0 up at the same time, so if we just want possession and we've got a tactical plan to see out a game and maybe nick a goal at some point, but that is not our main focus, to completely kill a tie off from the start and, you know, put ourselves in dangerous situations for the transitions for them, because they'll be really good on that. We've seen how good they are on that. Then it can kill the atmosphere a little bit as well, where if it is a little bit gung-ho, and if I'd love them to have kick-off first so that we can boo them and really see if we can get to them, get after them and put them under pressure, because actually in the first 5 minutes of the home leg, in the first leg, we had them boxed in at one stage for the first 5, and I was like, you know what, we're at this. Like, the pressing is actually really good on this side, and then everything fell to crap. So if we could just put more pressure on their press and not make it easy, and make the atmosphere absolutely horrific to play in, hopefully some of their arses can go, because they've not won a Champions League before, so hopefully you know that plays into the psychological factor of it as well. I
do like that we've got a bit of a greater freedom of choice, I think, in terms of selection for this, Dan, because of how we managed the game at the weekend. I think, you know, again, the gauntlet's been laid down to a number of players. We've seen Gakpo's back in training, hopefully, so he'll be available, so that's one more player for the mix. But there's a bunch of lads now I think he'll probably feel that he can trust. If it's the ones who underperformed, then, well, they've performed all season long, so they've had that little, you know, slap across the backside to remind them not to step out of line, and then the ones who stepped in have all performed really well. So there's probably a case where there's maybe 15 lads who might be looking at it going, I've done all I can to make sure that I'm in this starting 11. Yeah,
which is the healthiest possible position to be in, isn't it? Absolutely. Yeah. And PSG, I noticed the weekend is such an end. They invested a lot of their big hitters. I think they made 8 changes for their domestic game, which they won 4-1, by the way, but whatever, kind of par for the course, isn't it? We weren't quite so adventurous and sort of in such a luxurious position with our rotation, but Arne Slot hasn't done that all season long, more or less, has he?
It looked like we made 8 changes first half.
It did, yeah. Look, I was playing for a little bit in the first half, but no, you're right, absolutely spot on. The 14-15 players we have at our disposal, obviously 6 subs get a look in at the weekend as well, so that extends that ever so slightly further too. Gakpo's back in the reckoning as well, as you mentioned. So yeah, we're in a really healthy position when it comes to the fitness, when it comes to the form of a lot of these lads as well. I think it's fair to say, you know, the energy levels definitely dipped first half on Saturday. We maybe sort of dealt with that and maybe fixed that a touch with the changes. Obviously, Szoboszlai looked like he was really fatigued, really struggling. Hopefully, you know, another win can add a little bit of energy back to the legs too, a bit of rest into 1 or 2 as well. So yeah, we are blessed, I think it's fair to say, at this deep into the season, having all these lads fit and firing. Yeah, it's brilliant.
The mission's really got to be, I think, to make sure that people's heads don't get pulled towards the weekend, Chris, because if you take, and hopefully again, the nature of how the first leg went means that shouldn't be too difficult, because as much as we're having the conversation, which players are going to be like, oh, it's a chance of my first piece of silver, or a chance of another piece of silver, or a chance to be on the pitch when we win a piece of silverware, this is too big a game, hopefully, for them to look anywhere beyond Tuesday night, really.
Yeah, and the gap in between is obviously 5 days, isn't it, or something, so that obviously helps us here, and, you know, the fact that we're not playing a game for a little while afterwards obviously plays into that. You can just sort of empty the tank this week, can't you? But this is one of those where, you know, any manager or player that you see speak post-match is always game at a time, and that's got to be this week's mantra, hasn't it? You know, not even thinking about the cup final. You know, it is all about PSG on Tuesday night. And once you get through PSG, we'll start thinking about Newcastle in the cup final. Anyone whose mind wanders needs to have their head looking at, to be honest, because this game is massive for us.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Anyone else? I mean, I know there's the general sense of nerves, and I'm sure that will ramp up as the game gets closer, Chloe, but this is what it's about. Yeah. You know, big game under the lights. You know, we always have this every year when the draws come out of it. Would we have preferred Bruges, you know, and had a better chance of kind of walking it through without a shadow of a doubt? But yeah, there's an opportunity here for this to be another one of those I was there moments.
Yeah, it is. And this is exactly the biggest selling point of Liverpool Football Club. It is those nights under the lights, the atmosphere we can create, the way we can suffocate teams from pitch side. And hopefully we can do that once again. I'd love it to be a night where Liverpool just completely dominate. Liverpool can do that if they show up and play to their best. But there is jeopardy. There's something on the line. The atmosphere will be incredible. And also, I think everyone in that stadium will also realise that we are also bouncing into Wembley. You want this win, not just because to get through to the next round, but also because you've got Wembley coming up. Sometimes, Ryan Gravenberch looks like he looks leggy as hell. You give him this bit of adrenaline of getting through to the next round and going to him, playing a final as well on Sunday. So that'll hopefully help the lads as well. A massive victory. Everyone together and helping the team get over the line and hopefully smash this PSG side who are very, very good.
Is the international break after?
Yeah,
the
22nd.
2nd of April we play Everton, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a league game this month.
Yeah, so there's a big old, it's like we don't play in the back end of March after the EFL Cup final at the weekend. So yeah, it's part rest, but also not, because all these lads will go off around the world presumably and get liked by their international managers. But in terms of actually the brain break of going away and going out and seeing your other mates and training in a different environment, when we get back for that, the lads want to have a nice bit of, shiny thing to look at and have a little touch around the training ground, I reckon. Hopefully a place to look forward to in the next round of the Champions League. And then you're it's the home stretch of the
then the title race starts.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's funny that I know we've said that before, how everyone goes on title race. And I've said, don't look at the league until 10 games gone, and you're not in a title race unless you're in it with 10 games to go.
Yeah. We're not in a title race.
Yeah, well, we are.
We're not. It's not a fucking race.
No, it is.
We don't have other people to fucking race against.
Title jog.
Why can Arsenal go 7 point? They can't now. Why couldn't?
Could they play twice before we play again in the league? At this point, it was free.
So, because we would be playing Villa this weekend, but that's been moved back around. So everyone else plays a round of Premier League fixtures, and then they kick off before we play Everton on the on the 2nd or whatever.
It's unfortunate that they fucked it up.
So the best Arsenal can hope for by the time we kick off the Merseyside derby is to be 9. I think it's 9.
9. We've always had a game in hand by then.
We'll have a game.
That'll be our game in hand by then. Because they got one game in hand now, haven't they? And they'll play 2 by the time we play.
Fun. Are we confident in the Champions League?
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
It's Anfield.
I think our levels go up a notch or two as well. I think we score.
Yeah.
How did I feel against Atalanta actually last season?
Confident would be the word.
Yeah.
I fancy us, I do.
I'd be confident. I could play that game 100 times and I could watch it back to back and still feel confident because I'm stupid like that. Atalanta.
That's an elite mentality, that ball. You could have made it at the top.
Should be beating them bricks. Chris, you?
Yeah. I don't know about confident.
Excited.
Definitely excited is the right word.
Maybe that's the word I want to use.
I'm starting to dream of trebles, which is a bit stupid.
You've said it now. Yeah. Normally when you,
I think next Monday we can talk that.
Yeah.
If it's still on the cards. Yeah. This is a huge week, isn't it?
This is it. Because we say this, how whenever you have those like invincible quadruple treble talks, you almost immediately go out of one that follows on from it. This is too finely poised for me. Big. It's not even the fact that like 1-0's great. 1-0, how we went away from home and beat them 1-0. That is that's like ideal. That's what you should be looking to do to construct a 2-legged win. But we got fucking battered. We got absolutely played off the park. So I don't have the same level of blind confidence that we'll just do it. But I am confident. Why not? We are. You can have a bad performance or you can have a bad run. See, again, I've heard people going, well, Liverpool have been this bad run of form. It's like, yeah, but we've also put in some good results since we drew a few games. Like, we found different ways of getting across the line. If we do that again on Tuesday, then we will be one of the favourites to go on and win this. And that's based on reality, not like a flight of fancy from us. But yeah, we do have to do that.